Hey guys, welcome back to a new video, and today we have in-depth Gunsmith Analysis featuring the FR556 Assault Rifle, commonly known as the Famas. It was a new addition to the COD Mobile franchise in the Season 14 or Season 1 of the game, however you want to call it. And today we will be seeing if the FR has what it takes to be part of the current meta, and what are some of the best Gunsmith builds for it. I want to thank Mr. Rui from the research team for helping me out with these stats and discussing the various attachments and build combinations with me. Let's start with the damage and range values. The FR556 has a unique damage profile in the sense there are only two damage ranges possible. The first one is from 0 to 26 meters, where it deals 30 to the head as well as to the chest and deals 25 damage to the arms and stomach. Thus, as long as we can aim waist and above, we have a 4-shot kill in this range. The legs deal less damage and we have a 5-shot kill if we fail to hit upper body shots. The fire rate is 669 rounds per minute, which is quite nice, and we have a 269 milliseconds 4-shot time to kill and 359 milliseconds 5-shot time to kill. The next range value is from 26 meter onwards, and we can get a 5-shot kill hitting chest and above, but the average shots required to kill would be 6 with a time to kill of 448 milliseconds, which isn't worthwhile and we are better off not fighting at this range. Thus, according to the base stats, we have an effective range of 26 meters where we can play, and considering that there are other alternatives available which can outgun the FR in this range, why should we use this gun? More on that later. Talking of the mobility stats, the movement speed is 6.37 meters per second and the ADS movement speed is 1.96 meters per second. These values are similar to what I had tested initially in Battle Royale, and these are pretty standard mobility values for assault rifles. The base ADS is 18 frames or 300 milliseconds, which is quite standard, and what breaks this gun for playing aggressive are the sprints to fire values. We sprint to ADS in 11 frames, which is 3 frames slower than what we usually get, which is 8 frames, and the sprint to hip fire is 14 frames, which usually is around 12 frames. Thus, not only do we ADS slower than something like KN44, we also have slower sprint to fire values. Thus, even if we build this thing for max ADS, i.e. fastest possible ADS speed, it still will be lackluster for playing close range and will get outgunned by other guns like Peacekeeper for example, and we will have an inherent disadvantage playing close range with all of the gunfights we take. Apart from that, the attachments available doesn't allow us to bridge the gap with making this thing super fast either. Why, even though we can build the FR for close range, playing in the 26 meter range, I wouldn't recommend it. There are better alternatives available. Looking at the recoil pattern, it mostly tends to go up straight and then shakes towards the end. One thing we should keep in mind, this shaking is not part of the recoil, i.e. applying muzzle brake won't help stabilize it. It is what we call aim shake, and bullet spread accuracy attachments like granulated grip will help stabilize it. The FR is a good example of why we should burst spray weapons at range instead of trying to spray the entire mag, since the bullet spread accuracy tends to become larger and we have more spread the longer we shoot. The FR is a laser initially and only tends to become unstable towards the end. Thus, most of the gunfights will end before we reach the shaking phase, and I recommend burst spraying first 20 bullets or so where the recoil is stable enough, and then take a pause and burst spray again. Apart from the aim shake, the recoil pattern is simple and follows the principle of just pull down to control it. I wouldn't recommend attaching recoil control attachments like operator foregrip either, and I'll mention it when I show the Gunsmith builds. The base mag has 30 bullets and we take 2.1 seconds for the full reload animation and 1.3 seconds if reload cancel. Thus, reload cancel is recommended whenever we can. The base hipfire on this gun is really good, and we can make hipfire builds for playing close ranges, which we can make it compete with the other guns we'd use in the close range. Thus, overall, if we analyze the base stats, the gun doesn't seem meta worthy, considering we have high recoil, which to be fair is simple enough to control, bad sprint to fire speed, and the range is only 25 meters, and after that the 6-shot time to kill puts us at a disadvantage, but depending on how we build it, we can make it to be the best at what it does. Let's look at some of the Gunsmith builds we can make. This is the first build I have, which I would recommend for smaller maps like Shipment or Summit. We start with the tactical laser for improving the ADS speed and the bullet spread accuracy, and then the shot barrel plus combat stock for improving the ADS speed further. Apply granulated, and finally the mag to finish things off. We have 14 frames ADS speed with this build, and we can change the mag to something else, but I personally use the mag as it helps me out more playing the 26 meter range. The other build we can make for playing aggressive is the hipfire build with 5MW laser and flash guard for improving the hipfire spread, and then the mag and shot barrel for improving the ADS speed further, and finally we can use the combat stock for improving the ADS speed, but we can also opt for the granulated grip for stabilizing the aim shake, allowing us to play range 2 when needed. We have 26 meter range to play after all, thus you can take your pick. But like I mentioned earlier, this isn't a gun we'd want to play close range with. So the better approach is to build it for range and having laser-like sprays and good bullet spread accuracy. Thus the balanced class I would recommend is steady stock and granulated grip for stabilizing the aim shake. You might ask the question, why not tactical grip instead of the steady stock? And from our testing, the tactical grip doesn't seem to do much, probably because it affects the bullet spread accuracy less than granulated and steady stock individually. Why apart from granulated, the steady stock is recommended. And it also helps with flinch and horizontal recoil as a bonus. Next we have tac laser and shot barrel for improving the ADS speed, and the shot barrel also helps with the movement speed. And finally the extended mag. I personally prefer the extended mag, but the fast mag can also be applied, up to preference. This build has 16 frames ADS speed with very good recoil and aim shake, and as long as we can control the recoil, we will laser with this build. This build is recommended by Mr. Roy2 from the research team. If recoil is bothering you, then the operator foregrip is the best option, but the issue with it is that it makes the ADS speed 17 frames, which is the same as the 32 meter 4-shot range build, which I will show you next. Thus, instead of having a slow build with lackluster range, we can enhance the range capability further, keeping the ADS speed the same. With the operator grip build, we can't play aggressive much and our range only extends till 26 meters. Thus, our range capability is also diminished. For what? Approximately 14% less vertical recoil, which is easy to control with practice. And another thing, we don't even need to spray the entire mag, just the first 20 bullets where the BSA is good. Because if you remember, bullet spread accuracy increases the more we spray, while towards the end of the mag we have more aim shake. But we can bypass it by stopping our fire after spraying 20 bullets. And the recoil is very manageable with good bullet spread accuracy to not need any recoil control attachments, like operator foregrip, strike foregrip, etc. You can use it if you want, but it is not needed. The main issue with the FR, in my opinion, is not only the base stats but also the attachments available to us. We don't have the luxury for having recoil control with good BSA and range capabilities. We either have to build it specifically for playing the 25 meter range, and I have shown you aggressive builds which you can use for it. Otherwise we have to play range and maintain good bullet spread accuracy, which are the builds I will show you now. Thus we don't have much options when building the FR. It's either this or that. We either play close range and stand a chance at getting outgunned by most of the guns used. Otherwise we play long range, which is where the FR truly shines, with its laser-like sprays and 269 milliseconds time to kill, which can be extended till 37 meters. Thus, this is the first range build I have with 32 meter 4-shot range and 17 frames ADS speed, which is same as the operator grip build I showed you previously. And this build is recommended by Mr. Roy2. We have the monolithic suppressor for enhancing the range and offering us sound suppression, and then steady stock and granulated grip for bullet spread accuracy, finally ending with the shot barrel and tac laser for ADS speed. This is my recommended build, as 17 frames is still fine for playing close ranges when in a pinch, and we have unparalleled range capability. And the only competition is the AK-47 with the 5.45 caliber ammo, otherwise the Man of War. Range is where the FR truly shines, and instead of making it an inferior close range alternative, we can play to its strength and build it to be one of the best at what it does. Apart from this build, I have the ultimate range build which can even laser people till 50 meters or 60 meters. And this build has 37 meter 4-shot range and 19 frames ADS speed, and what Mr. Roy personally prefers using for most maps. We have mono and ranger barrel for boosting the range, and then combat stock plus tactical laser for improving the ADS speed. Finally ending with the granulated grip. We use the combat stock here since the bullets per accuracy is boosted by the barrel and the extra attachment isn't needed for it. If you have a passive playstyle, then I'll either recommend this build with 19 frames ADS speed and 37 meter 4-shot range, otherwise the previous build with 17 frames ADS speed and 32 meter 4-shot range. Overall, we can't go wrong with using either of these builds, and they are more than worth it. For what perks to use, they're up to preference. For playing aggressive, lightweight, quick fix and hardline is what I use these days. And for playing range, we can opt for Ghost along with FHJ to shoot down UAVs. For Battle Royale, I would recommend using the range build as the hipfire is really good and we can hipfire close ranges, and the time to kill is very competitive too and outguns most of the guns that people use for close ranges. And otherwise we have good range capabilities too, no issues. Both the 17 frame and 19 frame builds are viable, although I would personally use the 17 frames build. Thus, is the FR556 good? Definitely yes. It has a niche where we can use it and it will dominate that niche, because the only other guns having fast time to kill is the AK-47 or the Man of War, and the FR blends alongside them pretty well. Thus, it definitely has a part in the current meta suiting the main AR role. Apart from MP, it is also very strong for Battle Royale and I would use it as a custom loadout when I can. The only challenging thing is the recoil, and that honestly comes down to practice. The principle is just pull down, and the only thing we have to keep in mind is how fast we have to pull down, and not trying to control the aim shake towards the end and just reloading the mag and spraying again. And that was pretty much it for this in-depth Gunsmith analysis. I hope you liked it, and a like will be appreciated, and I hope you learned something new and found a build you are comfortable with. Do subscribe with the bell icon to not miss out on my future videos, and let me know your thoughts regarding the FR and what build you personally use. I will see you again very soon. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good day. Take care guys, and bye.